Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Spence.
How do we know you're really Amnon?
Good morning.
Good morning.
And Nick is here.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Gal is here.
Good morning.
Morning. Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by VMix Software, by DudeInIT.com, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. So what's going on, guys? It's pretty nice outside still. It's going to get ugly here.
It was beautiful yesterday.
Yeah.
It was absolutely beautiful yesterday.
I worked outside a lot of the day doing stuff.
We were sitting outside, and about 3:30 or so, Kathy said, it's getting too hot. I'm going in. Yeah, it was nice. Very nice. Nick, can we make it happen again and again and again?
No. Wait long enough and it'll change. I think late this week, like Thursday and Friday, it's supposed to get back into the 70s. It's not going to be a bad week. It's supposed, at least down here on the coast, it's supposed to be in the 50s and 60s all week.
The first time in almost a year and a half, I played golf this week.
Oh, really?
9 holes of golf. It was
Didn't
nice.
realize you were a golfer.
I'm not a good golfer.
Well, hey, doesn't matter. Golfer's a golfer.
Yeah, I used to play maybe 10 times a year. Now I'm lucky if I play once every year.
Well, that means your foot is doing good.
Yeah, it's tolerable.
Oh, good. Nice. All right. I have a question. Who's using Gmail?
Me.
I am.
All right. I got a call from my doctor's secretary, and she said that when she's printing some emails, it doesn't wrap, so it cuts it off. I said, nah, you need to say that it's to fit the page or something. So she's not very computer literate, so I went there. And I'll be damned if there is nothing I could have done. And I kept on trying to read it. I mean, to read about it, to search about it. Everything is about composing. Nobody's telling you what to do if that happens when you read, or especially when you print. It will just not print the whole line. And this is in the body of the message.
What's the source?
It's
Who sent whatever you're printing? Is it a machine or is it a human being?
It's a human being.
And what are they using on their end?
I have no idea. That's what I ended up telling
I can tell you
her.
what the problem is.
What?
It's not Gmail. It's not the email. It's the printer driver.
But wait
It's
a
not
second.
handling the
Even
wrapping.
when you
No,
read
hold
it,
on. You can print to PDF.
wait. Even
Yeah.
when you read it, you see it cut off. You have to scroll.
You see it cut off where? Inside of Gmail?
On the screen, yeah.
It's
and-
the
but
that's not-
HTML composing the email. That's the thing.
And it was with every email or just some?
no. It's almost like I mean, it's all kind of announcements that they're sending him about conferences, and the lady that sends it.
So it's not a human being.
No, it is a human
It is
being.
a templated mail. Amnon, it's not somebody opening an email, writing an email, and hitting send.
Probably not, because
Oh,
you're right.
that's
There may be a
so- yeah.
template because she's following a certain. There is
Yeah,
a
it's
Yeah, so
pattern.
it's a
HTML
failure in
in
the
that template.
composition.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I told her. I said it seems to me like the only thing I could.
Let me ask you
gather
this: Did
that-
she forward the email to you, and could you
No.
print it?
I told her
That would be the same.
she could not even forward me the message. She didn't know how to do it, and I was walking her step by step, and she couldn't. So I said, "Never mind. Don't worry. I'm going to
Jesus.
be the next week, and I'll forward it to myself." But yeah, the only thing that from reading on Gmail, on Google, not on Gmail, is the fact that when you're composing, you're using, like God just said, HTML, and it seems like you're supposed to hit enter after it fills the screen. Now, of course, if you have a big monitor,
No. You're missing something.
What?
So HTML, right? If they are putting it, my guess is they've composed the email, the template with tables, and the table is rigid. It's not. It's not
Right.
about percent of screen size and stuff like that. If you're really adamant in printing it, what you can do is you can reduce the zoom to like 50%, and then it'll probably fit. But
No, it
it'll
won't.
be very, very small.
I tried. It does fit, but then when you print it, you can hardly see the letter.
Yeah, so it's small. Yeah, understandable.
Yeah.
And
Copy it
that's-
into
that's just
Notepad or
me.
Word.
Exactly.
That's
Is this web-
what. Yes, that's what some of the, now I do not. I can't expect her to do it because she would not how to do this.
Well,
mean,
why is she printing it in the first place? That's
To
the
give
big
it
question.
to the doctor to put it on his desk so he will know.
Then she needs to know how to copy paste into
Yeah.
Word because she
Yeah.
needs some way of controlling the. There's
Gal-
no way around this.
Gal, when I agree with you, and under normal circumstances I would do it, but this is an elderly lady that there you
Oh, fine.
and
I
I
am-
tried and tried and tried.
I
I
understand.
even told her you don't need to print it. Just I mean he needs to have it on his computer so he brings it up and he sees it.
Right.
Anyway.
Forgive me if I missed this. This is webmail or is it a client?
No, that's a webmail. That's Gmail.
Webmail. Because
Yeah, but it has nothing
in
to
what
do-
browser?
Oh, I tried Edge. I tried.
Yeah.
Okay,
all over.
good. Because sometimes Google has
Yeah.
formatting issues when you try to print the web page.
Yeah. No,
It does
remember,
weird things.
the
Yeah.
problem is it's not just printing; it is also looking at it, and
Yeah.
that's what was driving me crazy. I said, okay, if I go and I have a long line when I print it, it should wrap it.
It will not though if it's
Yeah.
improperly formatted. If
Right.
it's just plain text, yes, it will
Yeah.
wrap it and do whatever to display.
That's-
But if you formatted it in it's either a template or a mail service like Mailchimp or Constant Contact or something like that, it's just improperly formatted.
I have a question. Are you able to actually go across the text and copy the text, or could it be an image?
No.
Could it be-
It's text. You can.
It's text.
You
Okay.
can.
Oh, that's a good point too. And think about an image. Yeah.
No,
That'd be a problem,
it's not an image. It's really. I guess they could do it every time. It's the first line is the main announcement, not in the subject. In the first line of the body is the date and the what it is about and all that, and then all the instructions how to join and things like that. So, and that first line is also in bigger font and bold. So it really takes a lot of some of them are short and everything is okay. But she said every now and then, and I told her, I said, the only thing I can see is that the way that she is sending it. So wait a second, Gal. So even if it's in a table, if you hit return, in a table.
Return has nothing to do with it.
Well, in
I'm
HTML,
betting
It's
that
about
it's a
the width
BR.
of the table cell.
But in
I'm
HTML,
guessing they used a Word or something to compose it, and they're just cutting and pasting it in.
No,
Yeah.
that will work. That would actually print okay.
It should be.
No,
But-
it's about whatever template that is being sent to them
Yes.
is not a printable template. And that's why I asked if you will forward it to a client. You'll see that the results are probably exactly the same.
yeah, I'm gonna be there Tuesday, so I'm gonna forward it to me, and then when I come home, I'm gonna play with it. But it was just, I mean, I spent almost an hour there just going and getting frustrated and squeezing it and trying to copy it to Notepad to show her how to. No, didn't do it.
Well, you get to a certain point, and obviously, it is what it is. But if you've got a
Yeah.
person that can't copy something
Right.
from one place to
Right.
another to print
Yeah,
it, I mean,
it's-
there's not really a solution that's going to solve it.
Yeah,
You could potentially, and I don't know if this will work. There are Chrome add-ons like Print Friendly that might reformat it, but probably not. So
Yeah, but that requires a lot of interaction. You need to tell it
Yeah.
what to take out, and yeah.
yeah. See, that's the
Who
thing.
knows?
That's not something.
You're all about not teaching that person how to
No,
do things.
are you
That won't
kidding?
work.
Are you kidding? I'm staying on the phone with her for hours sometimes.
Yeah,
trying
but you're not looking for any solution that will teach her to do something new. So your solution is none. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What we're discussing is not complex, is not technical, but it's a no with this person. So you're stuck.
Yeah. Well, he's stuck. Yeah.
Well, there's
reach
one
out to the
solution.
person sending the email and tell them there's a formatting issue.
Yeah, I told her. Yeah, but I didn't want to do it before I get a second opinion.
Is it only one?
There-
Originator?
It's always the same originator.
Okay, then if it's only the one person, then it's a problem on there.
That's what
There is one other solution. It'll cost her about, I don't know, $10 an hour, and it's hiring a teenager to do that.
to do it.
Hiring a teenager, hiring anybody with any sort of semblance of computer skills.
Actually, yeah, you could post what's it called, Fiverr?
Fiverr, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyhow, that was something that
This
bugged
whole
me.
this whole internet thing is a fad. It's going to go away.
Oh, it's gonna go away. Yeah. It doesn't
All right,
matter.
Bill Gates.
Well, that and for some reason there was a story this week about solar flares because solar flares took out some of the what's Musk's network
Starlink?
called? Starlink took out like 15 of his
No,
satellites.
I thought they said that was the geothermal storm that went.
Whatever it was. Well, that's what it is. Geothermal storm?
That's what they. Yeah, something like this.
Well, it was essentially an electromagnetic thing that did it, right?
geomagnetic.
A solar flare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Solar
was-
flare, which is a solar flare.
It
Yeah.
did not take out those that were already in orbit working. It took out 50 of those that they just sent up,
Sent up.
and they couldn't get to the point of.
But the
Yeah,
the-
but anyway.
While they were deploying,
Yeah.
and so they never got to orbit, and their system got messed up.
Correct.
Ooh,
But this brought on stories about EMP and what would happen, and the potential if a solar flare that would really wipe us out, right, would have to be the chances of it happening, because it would have to be. It's like a beam. It's not just this thing that comes out in every direction. When there's a really big event, it comes out as a wave off of the sun in a specific direction. And the way it would have to be a lasting event because it's 24 hours for the Earth to turn all the way around, right? But
Mhm.
even if you're on the dark side, basically, of the Earth when it happens, it's still going to just take the uh, electromagnetic field around the Earth, the Van Allen belt, and all that stuff, and it's going to just make it light up. I mean, and it'll be enough energy to wipe a whole bunch of satellites out.
Look
But
at the
Yeah.
1858 Carrington event. That was the well, first on record and last that
And it took out
completely.
telegraph and just they were getting all kinds of, basically, what was it? What is it called? What's that glow that happens when planes get hit by electromagnetic? Oh gosh, something Saint Elmo's fire, right? It was like things were glowing all over the place, and people were
Well,
freaking
it's
out.
funny because if you do some deep dive into the Carrington event, telegraph at the time, telegraphs, you would connect it to the line, but you also had to have a power supply because you had to power the telegraph line.
Yep.
Well, the telegraph operators could unplug from their power supplies, and because of the solar whatever it was that was on the lines, they could continue to operate telegraphs without power because there was so much induction going on the lines themselves. But it crumpled the very early I mean, it was blowing up telegraph poles. I mean, it was it was a huge event.
Well, there was a big event in Canada. At one point, that there was something happened that took out a vulnerable power grid in Canada. Not the ice storm, but there was another event that happened. But the point of this was it started making people think about, well, what would our life be like if all of a sudden all of our electronics got cooked? So somebody was talking about, will you be able to learn how to fish and hunt?
Isn't that Tom Cruise's movie? Isn't that what happens in War of the Worlds? Isn't there?
No, War of the World, something else. But you have
what's the Tom Cruise one where everything it is? Remember he steals like an old truck that doesn't have any electronics in it.
Yes, there was the aliens did use a force field that they put out an electromagnetic pulse, and the only thing that worked was this old Dodge Caravan.
Yeah, the old Dodge Caravan.
Didn't have the sophisticated electronics in it. And the guy was able to fix it.
Yeah, a fully analog, no digital system. Yeah, so I mean, it's not impossible.
No, it's not impossible.
Go to a probably 91, I think, maybe 99 movie from Wim Wenders, The End of the World. Until the End of the World. It starts with in the middle of the movie, which it builds up to it. There's a point where they need to take out a satellite, and that creates an EMP pulse, and the entire infrastructure of Earth that's electricity based goes out.
There are hardened systems. I mean, the military has hardened systems, and I don't know what commercial entities have done that yet with hardened systems.
Oh, I've got my hardened system here. I've got a shoebox that I've wrapped in aluminum foil that I buried in the ground with my old iPhone.
Yeah, that's it.
So, it'll be great. Everything will be fine, but I'll have my iPhone, which won't have any cellular connectivity or anything else.
But you'll be able to play games on it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
As long as you downloaded them before and they don't need an update.
Yeah, I put that and a bunch of AA batteries in there so I can continue to power things.
Something, you just said something. God, you don't need an update. I was thinking yesterday how nice it would have been if this machine here that I'm using was still on Windows 7.
Oh, God. Come on, Amnon.
It does.
It would be nice, but
hold
you
on a second.
Connect it to the internet.
It worked. I connected. Once.
As long as you're doing home videos, that'll work. But the moment you need to go out to the world, to the big bad world, no way.
Well, but that's the thing is, I connected to the internet about 4 or 5 hours a week, an hour at a time, or 2 hours today, and that's it. Now, and it was working. And I mean, look, the other machine that that people are actually watching us on YouTube and all that. That's a Windows 7.
And it's connected to the internet 24/7.
and it's connected to the internet 24/7.
Yes, hackers, you can now
But-
try and attack it.
But the thing is,
Do a ping on NissanCommunications.com and figure out what his
the
IP
point,
is and go
the
after him.
point, the point
Going
is,
down.
the point is, I would never have to worry about updates screwing up the audio and the video and all. I mean, everything would just, not. Can you imagine not to worry about updates?
There is a simple way. Most of our listeners, they don't worry about it because they don't broadcast to the world.
Well, no, look, the reason I'm saying it is because Friday night, my machine at the office here finally did the Tuesday update. And I said, yeah, go ahead and do it. I'm not working. It's fine. So I did, and I said, okay, well, it went perfectly okay. Everything is fine.
Until
I went to eat. I came back, blue screen.
welcome to my world.
It's
Apparently-
ridiculous.
Apparently, in a Linux desktop does it to you like every once in a while.
It's karma.
Yeah, but
And
speaking
I,
of that, I did discover last week, helping a family member to set up a new Windows machine,
yeah,
that there's a way of disabling Windows Update. It's not like any official way or anything like that, but there's a very cool tool. I mentioned it in the past. WinArrow Tweaker, I think. I'll send the link in.
but Gal, with a problem with something like this, with a current operating system, sooner or later, something will happen that you say, "Oh shoot, yeah, I need to do updates."
It's the
I
same
agree.
problem
I
with.
do
Hold
not-
on.
No.
It's the same problem that you're describing on Windows 7.
No, but Windows 7 does not have updates anymore.
Yeah,
And
but
that's
but
it.
you have software that will update.
That's very possible that.
No,
at
it's
one
not very
point-
possible. It's very true.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean,
You'll
You're going to have
you'll be-
software that updates that needs dependencies, and because you're running Windows 7, you're in the same problem. What are you talking
they'll-
about?
well, yeah.
He
but,
wants the old good old
Yeah,
software.
yeah. I
He
mean,
wants the analog Dodge.
Amnon, if this is the problem, go on eBay and buy a data video SD
Nick,
video switcher
Nick,
and get a couple of old VHS analog camcorders and submit your show on tape.
Nick,
Then there's no computers involved at all.
Nick, you know the machine, the reruns machine.
Yeah, what is
And-
it? The machine's older than I am.
It's an i7 from probably about 11 years. I don't know. But the point here is that I never had a problem with broadcasting on it because it's using the same program. It was using Wirecast, and now it's using vMix, and it's using the audio stuff, and that's all it does. And it just works.
Well, theoretically, it's an embedded machine. Right?
It is
It's not- it's-
absolutely.
You've created your own hardware.
Yeah,
system.
okay. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And
Yeah.
Nick, I agree with you. One of these days, it may be say, "Oh shoot, I can't use this anymore. I have to update." Yeah, but it is so nice not to have to worry about that machine.
You know what's going to happen next,
Updates.
right?
Huh?
You know what's going to happen next week.
Okay, what? Oh, it's
Something
gonna
is
die.
going to happen to this machine.
Yeah, I know.
right?
We're jinxing
The
it.
amount-
And you know
We
what?
talked
Amnon's
about
going to call me in a panic, and I'm going to say, man,
Nah,
are you just
no.
shit out of luck or what? If you were only running Windows 10.
No, you
And
see,
not,
this,
it's gonna spring a week, and there's gonna be like liquid all over the floor.
It'd be like a water
No.
bed.
I was gonna upgrade it many times to another machine, and I said,
Whoever's on
but it's
chat,
working.
right? Whoever's on chat, please make sure next week to ask us about this machine. I'm sure something happened.
Oh, shush. He's a working. He's a work. Anyway,
I think Amnon, I think you have PTSD. I think this is a long term. I think you need to go. No, stop. You can laugh, Spence and Gal. I'm being dead serious. I think you are still, and it's foreign to me because I was not in. I wasn't alive, but I wasn't dealing with computers at that time. Of these horror stories of updates. mean, for as long as I've been involved in technology, which has not been that long, let's just call it a decade, from 15 to 25. Those days of updates and destroying everything on your computer are just not.
Okay.
They just don't happen.
Nick, let me ask a question.
Yeah.
How many times did I call you that you remember about this machine here screwing up and I couldn't use it? Quite a few
Enough.
times. Yeah.
Correct.
How
But
many
the
times?
screwing up was not always in relation to a Windows update.
Well, true. How many times?
But let's be clear. Let's be clear. The issue in which it's screwing up is because of poor USB audio drivers. That's the root cause of the problem.
How many times did I call you telling you that the reruns machine stopped working? Say
I don't know.
Never.
Okay. What's your point?
The point
you also don't use the rerun machine in the way in which you use your computer.
Absolutely. And that is my whole point. That I don't use it that much. It doesn't do that much. It does one simple task that, just like Spence was saying, it's just like an embedded machine. That's it. I mean, we're still using ATMs out there that are using Windows XP.
But they're not connected to the internet.
Well, that's fine.
Anybody watch Cobra Kai?
Who?
Not the
Netflix.
latest season or anything. Yeah.
But part of the funny thing is that one of the characters, Johnny Lawrence, has never used computers. He doesn't even have a cell phone at the beginning of the series. And he eventually, over time, he buys a used machine at a pawn shop, and it's Windows XP. And it's an old Dell, the same one I have, right? And it's going good. It's so funny to watch him go through, like, trying to figure it out. And then he takes it back. He says, it stopped working. And the guy said, did you plug it in so it could charge? Oh.
I'd like to show everybody speaking of Windows XP, I'd like to show everybody what my experience was Friday night.
Okay.
So, I'm a halfway decent guy. So I took my girlfriend out to a movie. And there were previews and all of that stuff. And all of a sudden, right before the main event was supposed to start, this is what popped up on the screen. An active desktop recovery, which I had never heard of active desktop before. Yeah. Apparently, active desktop has got something to do with Internet Explorer.
Wow, that is old. Yeah.
It's Windows XP.
Yeah.
So apparently, apparently Regal is still using Windows XP for this.
For the projectors.
Well, because I looked, because I had no idea. I had no idea what an active desktop was. I've never heard. I thought it was maybe something with an RDS server. And and I started reading it, and Windows and active desktop was some sort of hook in between Internet Explorer and older versions of Windows. So this is a real screenshot I took on. I had to go out and get the teenager at the ticket booth and say, hey, there's an error on screen 6. And he's like, oh yeah, that happens. I was like, well, I'm glad I'm spending $14 a ticket for them to not update their infrastructure and use a computer that's 22 years old.
I remember.
You know what active desktop was, by the way?
I have no idea. No.
That was such a fiasco. So you know what ActiveX is, right?
ActiveX, of course, yeah.
What's that? Explain to our listeners.
I don't think I can explain what it is. I know what ActiveX is. I know that if you're using old software, you have to allow all these ActiveX scripts to run in the Internet Explorer.
ActiveX is a standard that allows video to be processed by Windows desktops.
Well, not just video. ActiveX.
But ultimately it started as that, right?
Windows
ActiveX was
3.
a collection of standards and drivers so that you could produce something that would be shown in a format that would be recognizable and standard.
So, okay,
something like that.
Go on, guys.
So, something like that.
We're going back to Windows 3.1.
Yes.
Windows 3.1, Word comes out, right? And one of the things that's baked into Windows is the concept, and they took that from IBM OS2. They worked with IBM on OS2, and then they split and came out with Windows 3.1, right? So Windows 3.1 has this concept. Back in the day, it started with DDE, and then they called it OLE, and that is the whole concept of running one software, but hosting some sort of input or output, some sort of graphically displayed content that is sourced by another application. So you're working in Word, but you want an Excel table in your Word document, right? So you're basically embedding some part that is going to run by Excel into your Word document. Okay? You're okay up to now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
ActiveX is just that. It's just that OLE repackaged and rebranded because they were starting with renaming things for one of the things, Internet Explorer, and ActiveX are these type of objects inside inside Internet Explorer.
Okay.
Remember Flash?
Mm.
Flash was in Windows, in Internet Explorer, it was an ActiveX component. Remember that's one of the reasons it was kicked out eventually, because this allows a web page, right, out of nowhere that you don't know where the source is, to run some sort of code that needs to be installed. So the reason this was a fiasco is because every web page you would every web page you would open, right? One of the first things it will ask for is, hey, you are missing this ActiveX. Do you want to install it? Right? Because Microsoft needed ActiveX to run sophisticated web pages. Your bank would ask for it. And that was the first attack vector that was so widespread that it was just horrible, because users would be conditioned to accept this. Now, Windows XP comes over, right? And for some reason, they said, let's make the desktop an Internet Explorer control. So you could put widgets and stuff on it. But that would constantly crash. And that's what you saw.
I was surprised.
It was such a fiasco. I think the fact that you saw that error means even something more alarming, that it's running Windows XP and not Windows XP Service Pack 2.
I was really surprised.
The worst version possible of Windows XP.
I was surprised that, not only was I surprised that it was running Windows XP, I was surprised that the way in which video has I was just thinking, what kind of hardware are they running that can process this video?
I don't think it's
still
about
running
the
Windows
hardware.
XP.
I don't think I think you got it wrong. It's not like the processing or anything. It's just some sort of control of the projector.
It may be.
Possibly. I have no idea. I was just like, I was like, well, damn, how they're playing, why is there, if this is truly, 20-year-old hardware that's doing this, why doesn't it take 5 minutes to start playing a video file back? God knows what the bit rate and the resolution is. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is just the control.
Yeah, no, there's
side.
probably hardware that deals with the actual decoding and encoding of whatever content there is, but it's mostly. I mean, you can buy a very rudimentary analog video to digital for $40. The hardware isn't complex, right? It just needs the right set of chips. So it's just the OS there is just for control, just for UI, nothing else.
I was going to say, I remember this happening a lot at Terry Town Center at the mall. You walk around and, you have those pillars that show you all kind of advertisements. And sometimes you walk and you see the Windows XP logo. That's it. It just sits there.
Or you see a blue screen, or
Oh, you see a blue screen. And you saw it in other stores too. And this is pre-COVID, when we used to go out a lot. And you see it in many places.
Did you hear that, guys? Amnon used to go out a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good trying to pull the wool over our face here. Yeah, good luck, good try, Amnon. We're not falling for this.
So bottom line is, unless something happens to this machine this week, and I'm going to blame Gal and Spence.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Nick. It's great. Every time I come in here and I start this machine, I'm looking at myself, okay, what happened now? Anything happened? No, okay, it's coming out okay. Sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes I get up and I come here and I move the mouse and it's up and it rebooted at night. And it does it a few times a month, not just when there are updates. And it's everything is okay so far. But the other machine, the reruns, just keeps on working. Keeps on running. Never rebooted. I have to remember to reboot it. So I don't
Keeps
know.
on
It just
running.
Anyway. All right. Let me get into something else that I did this week. So I have some emergency lights. They are the ones that have battery in them, and when the power goes out, it lights. 2 lights. These I bought probably, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago from Harbor Freight. They're still available out there, but they're expensive. They're like 70, 80 bucks. And I'm looking at the thing. I had a few that, okay, I have to change the battery. Okay. But this one didn't want to do anything. And I started playing with it, and wires came off of what looked like a homemade PCB board. And I had to go and open another one to see where did that wire go and all that. And finally I said, you know what? This is ridiculous. I'm going to recondition this one, but put modern components. And the way that I'm thinking about modern components is LEDs. Keep it at 6 volts. It has a 6-volt lead acid battery in it. And put a relay. What can be simpler than a double pole, double throw relay? If there is power, it closes or it opens certain passage that says, okay, light, don't come on. And then if you pull the plug out, no power, it closes these and opens other ones. And it says, okay, go ahead, light, come on. Then I have to get, okay, what do I do about charging the battery? So I got a cheap 6-volt/12-volt battery charger that I just stuck in the box and wired it directly. Everything's working great. It's working the way it's supposed to be. And I said, okay, yeah, I understand. It has to have a some kind of circuitry that will keep the battery not overcharged. And I solved this with this automatic charger. So I left it there for about a day on the bench working, and everything is fine. And I would go and I would check it with the thermometer, one of them IR things to make sure that nothing gets hot. The battery was getting a little warm. So I said, let's see what kind of voltage it's putting. So I'm putting it on the battery, and it's putting 9.1, 8.7. Nah, something is wrong. And Hannah came over, and I said, Hannah, I need your help. Hannah don't know, she's studying electrical engineering. I said, tell me what's going on here. Can you figure it out? And okay, so she started reading and this and that. And she said, no, you need to put some resistors and a diode. I said, no, honey, this is if you do your own charger to rectify the voltage. To make a long story short, this is a very interesting situation. This was a quote unquote smart charger that senses whether it's a 6-volt battery or a 12-volt battery. It started perfectly okay. 7 volts, 6.8. When the battery got full, it says full. But then about 5 minutes later, it starts charging again and it says now I'm putting out 9.1. So I said, okay, it's something to do with the charger. I had another older charger that I didn't like much because it had a button on it that you had to press that would go 6 or 12. I said, okay, keep it at 6. Put it on. It's been running on the bench for about 3 days. Perfect. Perfect. So if you are going to charge a 6-volt battery, and I don't know why they don't make 6-volt chargers, just 6-volt. I don't want a 12. If you're using something that's smart, that knows how to detect what battery it is, there's a good chance that if you leave it, I mean, these things are made to be left over the winter, whatever, to maintain, because it's a maintainer, desulfator, blah, 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 whatever, and it's a smart charger. If I left it there and didn't decide to check, it would have blown the battery, and I don't know. I mean, there would be some damage. It's probably fine to work with 12 volts because okay, you put it on a 12-volt battery, it cannot. Hopefully, it will not start charging at 6. I'll find out. But that other charger is working great, so I ordered another one, and everything is. I mean, and it's simple in my mind. It's simple, and I wanted to build a PC board and put some components on it, and a Zener diode, and and I said, honey, this is all in that little charger. It has all that in there. Makes a lot more sense to do it like, and it works. So yeah, it cost the relay cost about $12, and the charger was $16. Time that I spent, oh, hours and hours and hours. But it's a challenge. I mean, it's not like I have to go to work every day that I don't have time to do it. Many times, I mean, I worked on it when I don't have anything else to do. The other bad experience was I decided to put LEDs in it instead of incandescent light bulb. And you buy them on eBay. I mean, on eBay too, but I got them from Amazon, 3 in a pack. And they're the exact same base that you press it in and twist it. And it's not a bayonet, but anyway, it's the same thing. And it's 4 to 10 volts. One of them was really bright, nice. The other ones were dim. So I returned it. And I said, there's something wrong here. I got another box, and 2 of them were bright, and 1 of them was dim. So last night, I returned it. I said I need to return it because of this, and I bought another make on Amazon. It was a little bit cheaper. We'll see. But I left the charger. I mean, the light not being charged on the bench with the lights on. Both lights. It has two lights on it with those LEDs. And it started in the evening with 6.8 volts on the battery, which is kind of normal. And by morning, it was 5.9. So this is an emergency light that's probably going to last for days when you have that lead acid battery. And Hannah said, Dad, why don't you get a lithium ion battery, 6 volts, and put it in there? They're cheap now. And I said, yeah, that makes sense. But then I thought, oh, wait a second, though. I need to get a different charger now because the charger for a lithium ion is different than the one for lead acid. I said, let's leave it like this. It's fine. And so far, everything is working fine. Just re-engineering the thing. And Hannah said, a relay? Really, Dad? You're supposed to use a transistor, a MOSFET, whatever, something that does the switching inside. I said, no, I'd rather use a relay. It's fine.
Still a lot of relays used in cars.
Yeah.
Even with their electronics today, because when you got a current that they're drawing, the electronics are great, but that kind of amperage at low voltage can fry a circuit. So they use relays, and they're very reliable.
Yeah, that worked, and it's. I redid it. And
check out your car. Even in modern car, you go and look at the relay for the cooling fans and, and other things. It's a relay.
It's a relay. It's an actual relay.
So, yeah, because it's just lasts longer,
and it works.
Yep. Usually.
And this relay was really, really nice. It came with a base. You unplug it, and it plugs into a base that has screws, terminals where to put the wires. And,
oh, nice. So it's a breadboard thing.
Sort of.
Sort of. Yeah. Like a project thing.
Yeah, it's for a project, and it's made, I guess, to go on something because at the bottom it has some kind of a lock that you can press it and let go, and it grabs somewhere. Which I just put Velcro to hold it down in the metal case of the emergency light.
So she's okay with the Velcro and not with the relay.
She laughed when she saw it. Said, Dad, I mean, yeah, I can probably drill.
Well, I'll tell you where you did wrong. You used Velcro and not duct tape.
You should use JB Weld.
JB Weld, absolutely. I want to be able to take it out. Anyway,
I'm a big fan of JB Weld.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of JB Weld. You can pretty much solve any problem with that.
I fixed holes in oil pans with JB Weld, and it works.
The Mercedes that I had, the old diesel, I was driving on the Beltline. I mean, this is years ago, and apparently there was some kind of a metal bar or something that when the wheel went on it, it snapped and it made a hole in the oil pan. I mean, a crack. I didn't know. The next morning, I see black spot under the car. What is that? And I looked. And we cleaned it. We put JB Weld, and 11, 12 years later, it was fine. Never leaked. JB Weld is good stuff.
In the Israeli Navy,
Mm-hmm.
the epoxy compound.
Yeah.
Only Amnon will laugh, but he'll understand why. They would call it benzona, which means
son of a bitch. Yeah.
Well, so if somebody wanted to use some sort of the epoxy, and I'm pretty sure it's American JB Weld because we would get it in relief packages. Mm-hmm. So the electrician, right, is the way he was taught. I mean, we're 18 years old guys, right? He was told that this is called benzona, and they said bring the Bring the some of a bitch glue, basically.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
All right, Spence, are you ready for?
I'm ready.
You are. Well,
I'm ready.
here
We're ready.
Here I am asking you, and I'm not ready.
The entire production team and editorial team that puts together the specials are ready. All of us. And the editor and the formatting people, they're all here. All ready.
Amnon, are you still paying for the therapist?
No, that
I'm
that
not
lapsed.
getting that.
I'm not having any issues. That lapsed a while ago.
I didn't get that.
The multiple personality thing.
Oh,
So with all the Super Bowl hype that's happened this past week, and just it's been so much fun to talk to people about. I get people. Are you going to watch the Super Bowl?
You mean
Maybe.
excuse me. You need to refer to it as the big game, or
Big
you'll
game.
get a copyright.
Or the event.
I received multiple memos this past week.
Whoa,
from
whoa, whoa, whoa!
corporate.
What's that? What's that?
The big game.
Yeah, where the? So nobody's allowed to say Super Bowl anymore?
It's trademarked. If you're using it it's a trademark term.
Oh, right.
On air. Obviously, nobody cares about this.
Supreme
but
Bowl.
on air, you can refer to it as the Superb Owl if you'd like.
Yeah, I saw
That's
Reddit
good.
do
Called
that.
the big game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That football
know
show
about that.
they put on every year.
Yes, the big game.
So
Now here's the thing: you can refer to the Super Bowl as a thing. You just can't use the Super Bowl as like a promotional term.
Well, yeah, that's that.
we
that much I
couldn't say
understand.
this is a Super Bowl.
Show.
Yeah.
Bingo. Exactly. You couldn't market it as that.
Right.
pregame show. Yeah. Right. Well,
Yeah. The big game. Thank you.
so I just thought about it after all the hype this week and people talking about it and getting all excited. And I know people that have had 30-year traditions of chili and wings that they make a big party, people come over, it's just a big deal. And yeah, I mean, we used to watch it every year and have food and all that. We still do. We're just very casual. It's no big deal. But just to look at some of how it's morphed, right? The entertainment side of it has just gone absolutely bonkers as far as the stuff that they call entertainment. From my perspective, I'm 66 years old, right? I'd like to see when they have an older rock star come on and do a show with older songs that even young people enjoy. Great. But when they have some of there have been years with some really, really weird stuff happening. And you kind of look like, what? What was that exactly? So I just thought I put some pictures on our main page here of recent things that have happened at recent Super Bowls. I mean, the whole Madonna thing, I walked away. I never liked it to start with, but then just to watch this bizarre thing happen. And last year's streaker was just perfect. I mean, it just shows you what it is now, right? But let's just fast forward through the game to get to the commercials, right? And I know they've already got sites out there that have previews of the commercials that are going to be on the Super Bowl, and some of them are. And they show a commercial, and at the end, you don't even know what the product is. It's just strange.
So there are prequels to commercials now.
Yeah, they will show like leaked versions of here's the this company's Super Bowl commercial.
Oh man,
it's just the hype. But
yeah.
The best thing is just to watch the Puppy Bowl. That's it's just dogs running around having fun, and it actually gets very good ratings. So is it really about football? Well, it's about a lot more than football. So. All right. Computer Stricken now specials for February 13th, 2022. Oh, I just said I got to go out there and just look again at weird products. And I found some just great weird stuff. How would you like a mouse that actually is the shape of a cursor? It doesn't look very easy to hold. I mean,
Yeah.
it's small too. So that would definitely be a novelty. but certainly not a convenience. So, kind of funny. It's, years ago when we had a lot of remotes, I had a friend who came up with an idea for making to tape his remotes together somehow. It was just an idea. It wasn't really something you could sell. So I went off and I tried to come up with a couple of different ideas on how to make a board that held remotes. So I came up with a way of using Velcro on a board. You just put the Velcro on the back of the remotes, you have them all on a board. And so if you were looking, they were all in one place. Then I came up with one that was two-sided, where you could clamp two different remotes, one on each side of this block. It was just ideas to try it, because with kids in the house, you just lose this stuff. Where's the remote? Nobody would know. So I was just tired of that. So it's like attaching a brick to a keychain, so nobody can really lose it. But so here's a great idea, Amnon. I want to see you use this.
No.
The remote wrangler. Mount it. You just put it on, and it's got a strap to put all the remotes around your head. This is a real product. None of these is a fake product. These are all real.
But you see, it's definitely pre-COVID, because if it was after COVID, then it would have cover the mouth and nose, and that's it.
That's right. And it would have a sanitizer, squirty sanitizer thing. That's one of the clip-ons there. This next one.
This is really for a control freak to keep the
yeah.
remotes on his body.
But you can look at these remotes. These are kind of old stuff that's out there. But if you can get a universal remote now that does a lot of things. The cable companies with their ability to give you 4 or 5 devices on one remote. You still have to change, button to change between devices. But I don't have one of those anymore, because all I need is my Amazon remote for the television and my TV remote just to switch between sources. That's it. I don't have anything else. All right. So here is Puppy Tweets. It's actually a pendant that hangs on the dog's collar that will listen to the dog's noises and produce tweets. You set up a Twitter account for the dog.
You're kidding.
No. And you can see, I don't know how they do it. They have an algorithm, whatever they do. If the dog is whining, they'll listen to that sound and they'll say, "Oh, somebody please come and take care of me." That kind of thing. So literally, the dog is producing tweets. No more to say on that.
Yeah.
This next one isn't necessarily these next two aren't necessarily high-tech devices. A radio toaster combination. I guess, it's kind of a cool thing, right? But I just look at this and say, is it really worth? I think it's like $149, something like that. It's expensive. But if you're into cool, weird products, great. Well, the next one is for gamers. It's a hand exercise device, like isometrics, or using an exercise band for your fingers to strengthen your fingers. I guess guitarists could use this too, right? To strengthen your fingers for gaming. But I had a friend who was a guitarist. His exercise he learned from his teacher when he was young was to lay your hand on newspaper flat, and without lifting your hand, crumple the whole newspaper up into a ball, and just keep doing that as an exercise to strengthen your fingers. But here you go. You could use the Extensor Gamer Hand Exerciser to strengthen your fingers.
Spence, this is a very, very old product.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
And,
I didn't search on whether this stuff was new or not.
This
I just looked
was
for old stuff.
The gaming aspect is just a way to say this is for your joystick.
Or your trackball. Yeah. Well, I found up in my attic, I still have a yoke and a set of pedals to do for a flight simulator. Unfortunately, they run on a game adapter, a joystick adapter.
There are USB adapters for that.
They don't. You could, but there's probably a converter, right? I could use.
Yeah. There's USB adapter for game ports that you can use.
But I used to
Remember
like to
that
use the
port,
yoke.
That port, it's you remember where you hook it
Yeah, game
to the
port.
Yes.
soundboard because
Yes.
it was a MIDI controller.
Yes. It was a D shell connector. Yeah.
Yeah, a D shell that was an interesting
Like a
concept.
15-pin D shell.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do have a USB joystick. I don't think it works anymore, but it was a gaming joystick that was very good. And it had actually had tactical feedback and all that stuff. But
Oh, a
it's-
Sidewinder from Microsoft?
Well, no, it was a Logitech.
Okay.
But it worked really well. And I found that in the attic too. And unfortunately, it seems like whatever springs were in there that held it in place have kind of gotten bad over time because it was laying to one side. So it won't hold its position anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't do that. I don't play those games anymore. But the yoke, I used to do flight simulators. When I was doing my flight training, I used that for practicing navigating using instruments, instrument flying. But the pedals weren't very good because they weren't like in a plane. When you step on the right rudder pedal, the left rudder pedal comes up because they're obviously linked to each other. This was each pedal was separate, so that if you press down on the right pedal, the left pedal didn't come up. They did make ones that did that, but I couldn't afford that. It was too expensive. But it was fun. All right, next, Amnon, look at this, and it isn't actually a USB drive. It's a USB powered dog that humps the computer. I looked at this and said, this is a gag. It's a real product. It's a real product. It's so funny.
I am actually cross with you, Spence. There is no link for this.
Oh, I have to go back to the video.
Now I can't buy it for Amnon.
Oh, yeah, this is great. This is great. You got to put it, Amnon, you got to put it on your replay machine.
Yeah.
And just let it go at it all day. Just to keep it going.
It never stops.
It never stops. Right? And this last one is a hat that you mount your phone in so you can watch videos in a dark environment on your phone. Oh my gosh. I mean, how does it hold the weight? Some phones are pretty heavy. One of the comments that when I looked at this said that the pouch that holds the phone is not good for modern phones. This is an older product, obviously. But some older phones, like an iPhone 5, might fit in there 5, but some of the new ones are fine, but the new ones just don't work. So, oh well. All right, moving on to actual real products that you might actually want. Walmart. I went to Walmart today and just did a search on technology and electronics and looked through there, and there's some deals. We've got a Bose Sport earbuds, wireless Bluetooth earphones. Now, this is not the best one. The best one runs in the $300 range for these actually noise isolating, active noise cancellation head earbuds run in the 300 range. But if you want a really good set of earbuds that notice the little curved hook. This is what you need to lock these things in your ears. And I have a pair of Skull Candy ones that have these little tabs on the side. So you put it in your ear and you turn it, it locks it in your ear, and it's comfortable. It's not uncomfortable, but you need to have these. So $179. Got a Acer Aspire 14-inch i5 laptop, 8 gig, 256 SSD. What it says, PCIe SSD. Okay. So Windows 11, $429, and that's normally $499. Got several options for Apple smartwatches. Apple Watches, different generations. This is the Series 7 with GPS, 41 millimeter aluminum, for $349. Got a Google Nest second generation smart home display with Google Assistant for $64.99, normally $99. This is a really good deal.
Assistant?
Assistant, the Google Assistant. Yep.
It's like the Google Mini.
Yeah, it's got a
It's
screen.
just with a screen.
It's
Yeah.
competing with the Facebook, um,
Well,
whatever they call it, and also Amazon has their own version
exactly.
too.
Yeah.
It's just it's a smart screen that gives you access to some limited functions on there, but it's like it's voice assistant, all that stuff is built
Okay.
in. I don't know that you can watch videos on. I guess you could.
I think
Not
you
su-
can. I think they have YouTube on it. I think
Yeah.
it's basically an Android based screen that
Yeah.
is in some sort of, dashboard mode that you can't really get to the internals, but it runs Android software. So maybe there's some side loading options, maybe.
Yeah. My son's got the Amazon version of it. He uses for just controlling music and smart functions in the house. But you can call up, say, play this, and it will pop up a screen with information about what you're watching and stuff. It's kind of nice. Not sure what else it uses for home automation too.
Yeah. So if you have, you were mentioning Wise cameras, right?
Yeah.
So you can very easily say, okay, show me the camera, and you'll see the feed on this screen.
Yeah.
They have built-in apps for that.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Next one, Netgear Nighthawk dual band Wi-Fi 6 AX 1500 mesh system. Now, it's not the fastest. It's only dual band, not tri-band. But for a mesh Wi-Fi 6 mesh product, it's $168. Normally $249. This is
Finally getting reasonable price.
Yeah, finally we're getting there. So, and I was in Staples the other day walking. I was in there to get something. I was walking around looking at stuff, and I looked at the network stuff that they sell there, and the prices weren't bad. I was there to buy a single Google Wi-Fi mesh endpoint, an older one, and they had it as just as an add-on, the satellite, to expand somebody's system. And I was looking at the other offerings that they had there, and the prices were reasonable. Definitely off from what the introductory prices were. Okay, next we have an ONN, which is only see this at Walmart. I guess it's one of their internal brands. But a 10-inch tablet, 32 gig of storage, 2 gig RAM, Android 11, dual band Wi-Fi, $98, normally $109. Gateway. I covered. How did I do that? Something got messed up here. It looks like I pasted. I didn't notice this when I was going through
It's
here.
all right, but you have the information.
It's okay. But entry level Gateway Windows 10 S machines are like $149. Very good price.
Wow.
I mean, for these are eMMC drives with not sure what the Athlon something processors, but still. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It looks like I pasted in
Keep
the
going,
door lock
Spence. Never mind.
twice.
It's fine.
I didn't notice it. So I didn't do enough error checking. The next one for a smart LED strip light, Wi-Fi strip light, this is a great price. Even the regular price, $26.88 is great. $18.88. So this will work with a smart app. It's programmable. It's not just like one color. It does the arcade, all the different settings, and it will work with it's sound sensitive. So the lights will change to music. How fast they do it, I don't know. But hey, it's a great price if you want to set some lighting up under counter, behind your media center, whatever, out on your porch. I'm not sure it's weatherproof. But,
about those lights, looks like I'm going to buy a few just because you posted it. They are based on Tuya firmware. That also means that they can probably be reflashed and used with something like Home Assistant.
Cool.
I'm definitely going to buy one to test it.
Yeah, I think
Looks
I might
good.
do the same thing. My son gave me the Wise. There's two versions of their LED strip. One is the basic one, and one is the Pro. They call. He gave me the Pro set, which I played with, and I'm going to be installing on my. I have some lighting out on my deck, or out on the screen porch, and it's protected from weather. It's not going to protect it necessarily from humidity, but I might put this out there and try to see if I like that better than the single function LED lights I have out there. So, okay, moving on. Apple AirPods Pro, MagSafe charging, $174. 498, normally 197. I'm not a big fan of AirTags because of the controversy and the way they can be misused. But an AirTag for $29, don't know if that's a good price, but they're selling them. Roku Express 4K streaming player for $31. Got a TP-Link AX3000 4-stream dual band Wi-Fi 6 router, up to 3 gigabits theoretical speed, dual core processor for $99, normally $129. I think we saw something similar to this last week around this price range. It might have been $119, but $99. Great for a smaller home apartment, but you can. TP-Link has technology you turn on in both routers that adds, I guess what you could call is elegant handoff, where it will detect signal strength and move you from one to the other if you put in the same SSID. Now there's some ways to do that simply, but there's a feature you turn on in this, which is like smart transfer. I'm not sure what they call it, but it will work with two of the same wireless routers and automatically move you from one to the next. And it works for both. You can put it together, turn this feature on mine, where it'll work with both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. So it's nice. Okay. Mini wireless security camera, full HD 1080 portable, small HD nanny cam. Look at the size of this thing. $20. I used to see these a lot. Different places, they're normally $26. Never played with one of these. Just I know what people can use them for, surveillance, and sometimes not good surveillance. But $20. And finally, the prices on this technology, these Wi-Fi, or this in this case, Bluetooth. Wi-Fi would be more expensive, but Bluetooth deadbolts. And they also had at Walmart, I didn't show this stuff. They had actual door locks, handle door locks, either with a round button or a lever that are Wi-Fi. And the prices are coming down. So this is Bluetooth. It doesn't work. It's not Z-Wave or anything like that. So it can't be used with home automation. But the point is that you can walk up to the door, and when you connect with Bluetooth, you can open the door and program it, put in different key codes and so on. For $69. I thought that was
Honey,
a good price.
reboot the router. I can't get in.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you can still use a key. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the important part, is if the battery goes dead in this thing, you can just put the key in there and open it. All right, that's Walmart. Moving on now to Best Buy. Some good deals on laptops. They've got it. Oh, sorry, I'm moving to look at it, and I didn't move the microphone. A couple of Asus machines. Got an Asus 11.6-inch Celeron. This is it is a Windows machine, or is this? I can't tell. This is a Chromebook. No, it's a Windows machine. Although the menu doesn't make it look. The pictures are all the same, which is weird. $149, save $90. I've got an Asus VivoBook i3. I'm sorry, for $329, which is normally $449. Got a Lenovo IdeaPad touchscreen i5, 12 gig of memory, 256 SSD for $449, normally $619. And finally, an HP Envy AMD Ryzen 5 for $669, $669.99, normally $818. We've got a Lenovo Desktop. This is an AMD Athlon. This is an entry-level machine. AMD Athlon series. It's a dual processor logical 4 processor machine for $349, which is 50 off. Got a USB 3.0 portable LED HD monitor from AOC for $124.99. Samsung 2 terabyte SSD, $194.99. That's 20 off. And we have a 500 gig PNY solid state drive for $43.99. It's 13 off. And they still carry. It's kind of limited. You can get a 256 class SSD still if you want to just use it as a boot drive. Start up your machine, put essential stuff there, and then store everything else on the spinning drive. Well, this is the biggest portable drive I've seen in this price range. So it's a Western Digital Easy Store 5 terabyte USB 3 portable drive for $104.99, normally $179.99.
Is that an SSD or a hard drive?
Hard drive.
It's a hard drive.
Hard drive.
It's a spinning drive. Yeah.
Damn, that's a lot of storage for that
A
price.
lot of storage. A lot of storage.
Yeah, if you have a Costco membership, I think they sell. I don't know if it's the Easy Store or a different line, but they're selling the 5 terabytes right now as well, is in a good price. I don't remember the price though. Yeah.
We've got an Apple 10.9-inch iPad Air for $499. It's $100 off. It's the latest version. I've got a Seagate Iron Wolf 10 terabyte internal NAS drive for $249.50 off. We've got Amnon. Remember these things?
Yeah.
VHS to DVD
Right.
converters.
Yeah.
USB with composite in to.
I still have one of those.
I have two of them. I have two different ones. But yeah, I've done a lot of converting of old VHS stuff tapes, and I still have
But
a
you
couple of
have to have
VCRs
the-
that work.
But you have to have the VHS player.
Yes,
Of course.
I
Yeah.
still have a couple that work. Thank goodness. But I really don't have much else I converted. Anything else after some really old family stuff that I saved is on digital tape. It was either, I can't remember the two generations of it. I had one that was saved it as a digital, but it didn't offer a file to you. It was just a digital. Then the second one was actual Sony that you could convert easily. But 39, if you still have stuff out there, it's worth having one of these. It's not hard to operate. The quality isn't going to be great because you're pulling it from VHS. So, all right. This is the cheapest Brother printer I could find. But they had them. They had a lot of it was out of stock. They had another inkjet one that was kind of a more business class in the 150 range, but it was out of stock. And it had very few lasers in stock, but they have had them, so they've been selling them. But 109 for a 1 year of ink. I mean, that's what 1 year of ink would probably cost you, is 109. So it's a good deal if you have a low duty cycle requirement for an inkjet printer. So it does have a built-in scanner. So it isn't all in one. Does not have a fax machine, obviously, but nice machine. Got a Logitech Mk550. This is their blown out multimedia, super configurable keyboard with mouse. $49, save 10. I didn't realize that this was only selling for $59. Not on sale. So a lot of function there. And then finally, an 8 terabyte Western Digital external USB 3.0 drive for $159, which is $50 off. There was some pretty good stuff out there today. Who's doing the entertainment tonight at the Squeamish Bowl?
It's a whole bunch of people.
Oh,
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop
It's,
is in there, and
yeah,
a couple other people.
Dogg,
Yeah,
a whole bunch of people.
let's hope. It seems to have gone downhill the last couple of years. They'd have a bad year with people that were outraged, and then they come back with something very neutral, and then they go back to something that people go like, "What?" I'm not sure what the key demographic is anymore for football, as far as who watches and who they want to advertise to. I really don't know.
Well, the
It's
Super
not
Bowl
me.
isn't about
I know it's
football,
not
right?
me.
So
It's interesting to know that once we get to a certain age, unless it's medication or some other senior thing, nobody's marketing to us.
Medication or talk radio. Nobody
That's
is nobody is marketing towards you.
Yep.
I start ads on Monday, live endorsement ads for a a joint pain company, so I'm gonna have to be like, hey, I'm getting up there in age, 25 years old. Let me tell you, my knees are surely not what they used to be.
CBD oil?
No. This is treatment, non-surgical treatment.
Oh, it's the injection.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the stuff that relines your failed joints. Yeah. I can do that for you cheap, Nick.
Well, I don't need it, but
I use WD-40. It's great. Squirt it in there, relubes everything, and
I have a strong suspicion. Has anybody ever injected WD-40 into themselves?
I'm sure they have.
I'm
People
sure
are
it
so
works.
stupid.
I'm sure.
No, I'm sure it doesn't work. I'm sure it creates a huge. I just wonder. I mean, what is? It's just oil, right?
It's not
It's
oil.
actually
no.
It's a water displacer. WD stands for water displacement, and 40 is the 40th experiment they have, and this was the formula that worked. So WD water displacement version 40.
Obviously that would not be helpful for your body displacing.
No, it does have a light lubricant in it, but it doesn't last. It evaporates.
They tell you not to use. They tell you not to use it as a lubricant because when it dries, it actually gets worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all use it.
You need to spray it in your machine if it gets waterlogged.
Yeah.
Just don't turn it on.
Yeah. I'm just reading the chat. Nick, you're gonna need to teach me how to do that. What do you call it? Social on vMix?
Your chat is not going to work for vMix Social.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you run a PHP chat that has no integration.
Okay.
So IRC will work. You want to get an IRC room?
No. I mean, I can do it in a way like.
That's how I was doing it when I hosted the show. I was just copying the comments.
I can pop it out and use this.
Yeah, I mean you could, but I don't. Yeah.
But Anyway, but Mike is talking about. I mean, Eleanor was saying the charger you can use on a car battery over the winter. Eleanor, I found out that the smaller ones that have like 1 or 1.5 amp don't charge a battery over the winter. They don't keep it. It works great throughout the rest of the year, but if it gets real cold, for some reason it doesn't work right. But a 5 amp would work just right. And Mike is saying those are called trickle charge. They provide charging current to the battery. As the battery becomes fully charged, the charging current lowers to a trickle. The 6
Gal.
Oh, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm ready for my next Z-Wave devices. I have the water sensor. Fortunately, I have not had any leaks. So good news there. Next thing is smoke alarms. They're expensive though. There's only about 2 brands that make these Z-Wave smoke alarms, and they're very expensive. You're talking about $40 an alarm, which isn't crazy, but you're going to buy 3 of them. You're talking about more money than you'd like to be just spending on smoke alarms.
Yep. I bought 6 of them. I know what you mean.
Okay, so is the solution just to bite the bullet and buy them, or is there anything else?
Wait for a deal. That's all.
Wait for a deal. Okay.
Yeah, I can tell you
$39 a piece.
I can tell you the best deal I've ever seen on these were at Costco, where they sold it in 3-packs.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was surprised because Costco never sells stuff for this type of audience, but for some reason this was on sale. This was probably during. I saw it twice, and I think both times it was during Christmas sales, right? Like before the holidays. But I can't guarantee.
Actually, they still have it right now. They have a 3-pack for $99.
Well, that's a bit better than the price that you
it's
quoted. But I think it was even in the warehouse. It probably was less.
Interesting.
But yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then I guess we will wait for a sale.
Yeah, check Slick Deals for the history. Check Keepa or what's the Camel something for price history on Amazon. See the lows that it has been at, and wait for an opportunity like
How
that.
do you check the price history on Slick Deals? Is there a good way to
Slick
do
Deals, Slick Deals, you just, if you know a product, a specific product, you search for that product and you see the old entries.
Just look at the old postings. Okay.
Yeah. On Amazon, there's add-ons that can do that for you. I use Keepa, Keepa.
Keepa.
Yeah,
Amazon price
Gal,
tracker. Okay.
when we need to come up with a list that can be updated and posted on the
And we can barely hear you.
A list of what?
all these places that
Tools?
you buy, that you buy sensors and whatever has to do with home
Yeah, sure.
automation.
Sure. I'll compile
And-
something. You can put it on page.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So how does
All right.
Keepa work?
How does what?
You
How
put
does-
you install the extension, and then you just go to a product page, and it adds a graph, a history graph of the price. Fantastic.
Oh, I see. That's at the bottom. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just below the product image.
Okay. So these dropped to, they were $32 in December.
And you can extend the time. It
Yeah,
usually
I see
shows
that.
3 months back. You can see all time, and you can go for 5 years back. It can show you the graph. So it's
So it looks like about $32 is the low point. $33 is the low point for this
Well,
device.
that's what they sells now.
check multiple pages, of course, because sometimes
I'm surprised there's not more, and maybe it's just because smoke alarms are not a very lucrative thing to develop, I guess. But there's really only 3 of these smoke alarms that are Z-Wave compatible. It's the First Alert, which
Yeah.
of course is like the gold standard when it comes to smoke alarms. And then Google has, I believe Google's got one.
Yeah, but that goes right now. It goes for 100 something.
Yeah, the Google
it
Nest.
used to be
it's literally
200. It used to be
Yeah.
200, but that's overkill, and it's tied so
Yeah.
tightly with their ecosystem, right? That it's fine, but I can tell you, it doesn't hook up to a smart home like an open smart home like Home Assistant very easily.
How much is a glass breaker?
Glass breaker?
I mean, the glass, the sensors that senses when if glass is broken, like
Do
a
you
window.
have,
Yeah, the
do
glass
you have an
break sensor.
Amazon Echo?
You
Well,
can use
no,
the Echo for that.
Z-Wave,
It
free.
does that.
Yeah,
So
you
can-
already have it.
Yeah, so you can use
So-
a regular, not the Wi-Fi or
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember those batteries, right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
go for $20, right? They work in the same concept.
Yeah, so when I was away last weekend, and I put my Amazon in guard mode, and it listens for the sounds of a smoke alarm or glass break, and it will notify you. So it's a good solution. The problem is turning guard mode on and off and remembering to turn it. And I guess you could leave it on all the time.
Well, you can
Um,
use your Home Assistant to track presence, and that can switch it on and off.
Really?
Yeah, you need to figure out what presence means. The
Okay.
easiest way for most of us these days, especially for you that you live alone, is whether your
Well, my
phone
cat's
is-
here, but you know.
Well, whether your phone is connected to the network or not.
Okay.
It's the easiest, right? It's the easiest things. So that can arm or disarm the alarm.
All right. Well, then maybe I don't need the smoke alarm.
So you mean you drive to the house and it senses and you automatically
The moment you
connect
connect it to Wi-Fi, that's good
Wow.
enough range. Even if
Huh.
you're outside, you're
yeah.
still around the home. You'll hear it,
Yeah.
right? So
it will
And
not
so,
it will not engage the alarm, right?
well, it's not really an alarm. Let's be clear. It's just it's not an alarm. It's not like you're disarming or arming a security system. The Amazon goes into guard mode and it just listens for
Okay, yeah, all right.
sounds. So you're not talking about a home alarm system where you'd want that presence to be a little, you don't want it constantly arming and disarming
Yeah,
and things
exactly.
like that. Or
That was my
your
point.
Wi-Fi's off, you come home and you throw off your security system.
Yeah.
It's a little less descriptive than that. So God, what's the hookup? I need to hook Amazon. I need to hook the A word to my Home Assistant and go from there.
Yeah, it's a process because it requires, first of all, it requires your Home Assistant has a domain name and an HTTPS certificate. I can
Okay.
help you set that up. It's rather easy. And
Okay.
once you have that, then you go through a process because you're doing it on your own home. If you would have paid Nabukaza, who'll give you a $5 a month subscription, and they can do it with a click for you. If you're doing it on your own, there's like a 40-minute process where you need to go as an Amazon developer, basically build your app, hook it up to your account, hook it up to the home. Once all of that is set up, then you can control stuff. You can, first of all, you can have Home Assistant tell your Amazon Echo to speak. Let's say,
Water sensor goes off.
Exact. So it'll say water sensor. You can actually, there's text to speech. Yeah. So that's one. Another part is controlling stuff that Home Assistant controls through the Amazon Echo, right? So turn on the light, turn off the lights. If it's through that and not through the Echo itself, right? Through Amazon, then you can do that as well. And you can create scenes and your own switches and whatever, right? Everything.
Okay.
The same goes to Google Home Assistant. So Google Assistant, same idea. You can hook it up to that as well.
So you just need to find a guide on connecting Amazon A word to Home Assistant.
All of the guides are on the website. They're very clear. They're very methodical. They're with all the warnings and all that. It's
okay.
Yeah, all you need to do is just follow the guides. Once everything is hooked up, right? I would check to see. I mean, I said you can do that. I haven't checked how. So I'm pretty sure there's just a control that can be sent to ARM.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if not, by the way, then you can probably go through, create some sort of switch on the Home Assistant, like it's called the binary sensor, which the Amazon Echo will detect it, and you can create a routine on the Amazon Echo that says when this switch is switched on, turn on guard, right?
Gotcha.
So there is a solution for sure. It's like it might not be very straightforward, but it exists.
Is this our Andrew there, or is this somebody using?
I believe that's Andrew.
Their word. Hi, Andrew.
By the way, about the question in the chat about what you think about NFTs, I heard a very, very simplistic yet very accurate descriptions of NFTs on a TikTok a couple of weeks back. It's one girl asking another, "Can you explain NFTs to us?" And she says, "Of course." And she says, "It has to be a man. A man came up with an idea. It has to be a man that their life wasn't complicated enough. And so they want to own something that doesn't exist. And then they want to sell it for $1,000.
Not too far off.
And that is probably one of the most accurate descriptions of NFTs I've ever heard. So, indeed.
Hey, Nick, how's that?
Amazon. Yeah, Amnon. We see the chat.
Yeah, it's so small that it's
Oh, you can't read it?
Unreadable.
Okay.
Of course not.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's time to update from PHP free chat if you want to do some of that integration.
Yeah, I was looking into. I'm always looking into options. The best option I can think of, a modern one, is something based on Matrix. I haven't found a simple implementation for it because I don't want the website to be embedded with a lot of crap. So I'm still looking. once I'll find, trust me, we'll make the switch.
All right, now I had a comment about when Spence was reading about Apple AirTag and all that. There's a little bit of update on that. It says that Apple said Thursday it plans to add more safeguards to AirTags to cut down on unwanted tracking, following reports that the devices have been used to stalk people and steal cars. In a blog post, Apple said it has worked with safety groups and law enforcement agencies to identify more ways to update its AirTag safety warning, including alerting people sooner if the small Bluetooth tracker is suspected to be tracking someone. And this is something that blew my mind. Right now, it can take hours for an AirTag to chirp if it has been separated from its owner.
Right, but think about the
Jeez.
use case. Think about the use case for
Yeah.
this. This is what I don't get, right? First of all, Apple didn't invent them, right? The
Right.
biggest probably supplier of these is Tile right now.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've never heard any complaints about Tile along this line. So I don't know who's generating the noise. Trackers are trackers. That's true. There's a very simplistic process here. It is relying on the network of cellular users that are interested in it. I maybe with Apple, it's just switched on the OS, even if you don't have a tag. Maybe that's the reason, the problem. Anyway, how do I use a Tile? I put it in my luggage, right? And that luggage goes away from me by design when I'm traveling, right? It goes through the airport security and goes into the belly of into the fuselage. I don't want it to chirp. I'm tracking it, right? So I'm like, I do not understand why it is a security concern that something like this exists.
It's just how it's used, because if you have
yeah,
people
but
using
will
it to
abuse
track
anything.
Oh
So
yeah, but it's because it's Apple. It's because it's getting talked about, and it's out in the open, and it's something that's always been available for the last 10 years. You could put a tracker on somebody's car and follow where they're going.
exactly, and it
But
costs
just makes it
40
just
bucks
makes
or
it
something.
it just makes it easier. That's all.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
But
Something
it does.
about
It raises awareness. That's I think there's a lot of things that happen that people don't know about that they would lose their minds if they find out about. But yeah.
I mean, I would like as a Tile user, right? I would like my phone to let me know that my phone is helping detect the Tile that it doesn't usually see. Okay, that will make total sense to me. Now, if my Apple device, if my iPhone is detecting an Apple tag next to me and it's not mine, I want it to notify me about that immediately. That's as far as it needs to go. I don't think anymore it needs to do any more than that. Right? And for some reason, all of the discussion about how to deal with it sounds like somebody is over engineering a solution that nobody has asked for. So,
that's a really good way to describe it.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the idea of having this convenience to use at times or for specific things. It's just there are always bad people out there that.
Right. So make sure the phone lets you know that you're actually helping somebody to find something.
Yeah.
Right. And now, if you're okay with it, switch it on. If you're not, switch it off. It's easy in that. It's let the people actually know what's going on and let them control it. Finally, suddenly you have a different sort of discourse completely. Instead of, oh, they're tracking me. No, they're not. You are doing it. It's like, I don't know.
I mean, think about it. They can track you by cell phone tower triangulation. They can track you by your
GPS,
PC, right? they know what do they always say in crime shows on TV? We traced his IP address, so they can find you. What is the
That's a lot of data.
surprise?
Yeah.
I watched a show recently where they actually they tracked an IP address. Oh no, it was spoofed. And they were using these terms, and I'm sure most people are like, huh? But it was good. They really understood, the people who produced the show really understood the technology and what they were doing, and how they got it. It was kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
In the show, they had to try to explain it to laymen how they did it.
Yeah.
And what was happening. It was cool.
All right. Now, here are a couple more warnings. Beware fake Windows 11 upgrades install Redline malware.
Oh,
that's from
great.
Bleeping Computers. Threat actors have started distributing fake Windows 11 upgrade installers to users of Windows 10, tricking them into downloading and executing Redline Stealer malware. These dangerous sites are promoted via forum and social media posts or instant messages, so don't trust anything but the official Windows upgrade system alerts. Bleeping Computers points out that hardware incompatibilities rule out upgrades for many Windows 10 users from official distribution channels, something that malware operators sees an excellent opportunity for finding new victims.
Okay. I get the.
Yeah.
I mean, you know me. Whenever you come up with an article like this, I'm always trying to think, okay, who's fueling this news cycle, right? And it's all. I mean, it's fine. There's nothing wrong in the article. It's just the fact that if you go and search, I use DuckDuckGo, but I'm guessing Google News will be the same, and you look for Redline malware, right? All of the news articles, they're all from 4 to 2 days ago. So it's a news cycle, right? Okay. It's like a hot new topic. And if you recall, the first thing that we got mad about when we heard about Windows 11, right, was, okay, hardware from 2016 and before won't be supported.
Right.
And so there's a whole discussion, a whole slew of forums and communities who are all about, okay, so how do we make the Windows 11 installer actually allow us to install, right? Even though it's not a supported hardware platform. And so now they're saying, look, one of these sources in these forums, right, is planting malware. Anybody who goes to these locations to try and find a Windows 11 upgrade, I think if they are going there naively and thinking no harm will be done at those places, right? It's like, yes, go read the article, but I'm guessing also these people are not the ones who are actually reading these articles. So that's why I say this is coming from Microsoft. So there's a red flag. If you are going to do something that isn't supported, that isn't official, make sure you're not downloading malware, right? I just think it's somebody at Microsoft finally realized, or somebody at Microsoft marketing finally realized that somebody has an actual malware targeting this vector. Let's ring the bell and tell people, hey, you should use the official stuff only, and if it's not supported, don't use it. Funny. Yeah.
All right. And the other thing here is talking about Microsoft. In one of the most impactful changes made in recent years, Microsoft has announced today that it will block by default the extension of VBA macros scripts inside 5 Office applications. Starting with early April 2022, Access, Excel, PowerPoint, Visio, and Word users will not be able to enable macro scripts inside untrusted documents that they downloaded from the internet. That's a good thing.
It took them 20 years, right?
Yeah, I know. I mean,
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
I never used macros, so
I
but
actually
it's
use
amazing.
VBA. I actually use VBA on my Outlook, on my work Outlook, VBA that I wrote myself.
Yeah.
Right. And I really hope that disabling it, right? They said untrusted. So I can trust my own stuff.
Yeah, of course. You
Right.
can turn it on. It's
That's
just
the
that
real
it's not-
question. But what do they mean by disabling for untrusted? That means you would not. I think the wording that you read was you would not be able to enable for untrusted.
No. But wait a second. Wait, you missed the thing. It will block by default the execution of VBA by default. That means you can turn it on, but by default, it's going to be off.
That was the title. When you read the actual line,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to be.
Yeah, it says
word
you will not be able to enable macro scripts
Exactly.
inside untrusted documents.
You will not
that
to be
they
able.
downloaded from
So
the
what is a
internet.
trusted document, right?
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, the way Windows in general decides whether something came from the web or not, right? When you open an executable, any executable, I'm trying to think. You download a zip file or something, and then you run an executable from within that zip file, for example. Okay, and then it tells you, "Hey, this came from the internet. Are you sure you want to run it?" Right? Or worse, you get that red window from Smart Screen that tells you this isn't a trusted app or something like that. That's entirely based on something called each file on Windows on an NTFS file system has something called an alternate stream. So when you're looking at a 10K file, for example, it might show that 10K file actually contains 2 megabytes of data. That can happen if it has an alternate stream, and that's basically like a hidden compartment with the file. It is usually to contain metadata. So it's usually if it's used in a very, very small capacity. You know what an internet zone versus an intranet zone versus the local computer. It's a term that they coined when they introduced Internet Explorer, and there are different zones associated with communication over the web. And when something is detected as coming from the internet zone and it is downloaded, the alternate stream contains that data. Okay? What you can do, right, at that point to let the file seem as if it originated just from from another drive instead of coming from the network, is you right click properties and there's an unlock option for those files, and that clears that alternate data stream. So there's no real magic there. That magic is the alternate meta stream that you can find, and you can right click and unlock. Know that if you're unlocking something that you don't trust, you are putting yourself in extra risk, right?
Sure.
It's always about risk. So anything that's being downloaded is marked as being downloaded. That includes Word files, that includes Excel files, etc. So if you downloaded something from the web, a Word file, and you load it, one of the things it tells you, hey, look, this file came from the web, right? Came from the network. Are you sure you want me to open it normally? Or I am blocking all of the macros and all of the stuff. That already happens today. And there's a button at the top and says enable editing, enable macros, etc. What the article said here, finally getting back to it, is that, as far as I understand, is they're not going to expose that button anymore.
I don't know. From what I read,
Yeah, I'm not sure as well. I'm not sure as well, but it sounds you will no longer be able, right, to enable macros, VBA, right, on untrusted files. So all we'll need to do is just mark the file as trusted. They're just adding another hurdle here, and it's an interesting one. It's one that I think should have been there since ages
long
ago.
time ago, yeah.
But don't be surprised if now most of the instructions you're going to read on the web on how to open a file or something will be, okay, download the file, first unlock it, and then open it. And understand that by unlocking it, you are basically telling the Microsoft mechanisms, this didn't come from the network. So
All right,
this was a
well, in
long way
April,
of start noticing unlocking and locking of files, because that will probably control the flow of opening the vectors, basically, right? The attack vectors.
I'm sure, since you said you use VBA that you wrote yourself and all that, that by April, if you see something weird,
Oh, I
you'll
don't
keep
know.
us. Yeah. All right. And before we leave, you're looking for a new job, go work for Amazon.
Yeah.
If you're still working at Amazon, stay there. Amazon is more than doubling its maximum base pay for corporate and tech workers from $160,000 a year to $350,000 a year. The move is intended to bring Amazon in line with competitors like Google, Facebook, Apple, and Microsoft, and to help ensure the company retains employees and recruits top talent. I mean, this is
For the number one company in cloud computing, right? It's about time.
of course, it's about time. Jeez.
Yeah, but look at the jobs in which it's doing. This
Yeah,
is not for the warehouse workers.
No,
this
it's
is
not.
specifically for the developers and things like that.
Yeah,
which were already making a pretty penny at 160 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Nick, remember the warehouse stuff that only costs Amazon money. What brings them the money is the cloud.
This is true.
So
This is true. This is true.
I mean, I'm cynical here, right? I do appreciate everything that's happening on the ground level with Amazon, but whatever brings their money, it's about time that they compensate accordingly. And yes, that should happen with the ground crews as well.
It
I used to
will.
have that discussion when people would talk about, I said I was in technical sales, right? And find out I didn't make what salesmen made, but I had a good salary because how could you justify people being paid that much, right? The sales guys were making, like you said, 300 a year. I said, well, because they sign up and they say, I commit to bring the company $200 million in sales this year. If you do that, you should be rewarded. I mean, anybody, it's really it's a value. How much value do you generate? So if you keep increasing the amount of money that people make, it has to be based on value. I hope. So I have no problem with that. I just want to see that people who want to get in entry level jobs, that they can get the training and the skills they need to advance, so they're not stuck at that first level.
Agreed. And
Indeed.
Spence, you need to replace your light bulb.
No, I don't have all my lighting on. I rolled up I'd have to do some adjustments here. I actually turned on
That's all right. Leave it
I don't
alone
know
now.
why it's weird how the lighting just went weird when I rolled up the screen.
I think
That's
it's the backlight.
It's probably the backlight, which
Yeah.
I can't do anything about. The
Yeah,
blinds are
don't worry.
closed.
Stop worrying about it.
No.
All right. It's that time of day. Anybody has anything else they want to add here?
Yes, I've got a very important thing.
Okay.
Amnon, can you put us both on the screen?
Oh.
Amnon,
Nick.
will you be my
Nicholas.
Valentine?
Oh. Oh.
Oh is not an answer. Damn it.
Hey, Nick.
Yes, Amnon. Oh God. No, that's about it. Hopefully everybody has a happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's, everybody. Yep. Good. You can tell somebody that's in love.
Yeah, I'm in love with Amnon.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here every Sunday.
So wait. On the Sundays you're not, is just because you had a fight?
Yeah. During the week, he was arguing with me about Windows updates. So I just said, you know what? I don't love you anymore, and I'm gonna boycott the show.
Oh boy. Okay. Anything else? Any other announcements anybody wants to make?
No, sir.
Nope. All right.
We're taking special orders on the puppy humper.
Yeah.
Did you see how many
We're
options
going to
there
order
are
it
in
in bulk
Amazon?
if you want to.
Did you see what?
Sign up now.
I searched during the show. I searched for it on Amazon.
Yeah.
There are so many variations. There are USB-C.
no.
There are what's it called? Lightning for iPhones. There are all types, all colors. It's like 8 pages long.
What did you search under?
Just humping dog USB. So yeah.
Oh, you know,
Gaia, you don't listen to this, okay, Gaia? No. Okay, guys. Well, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick, Spence, Gal, and good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna, Dina, Arlington, Micha, Eleanor, Sarid. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner.
And don't plug any dogs to your USB.
We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Again, remember, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., Nick is on Wilmington's 980 The Wave radio and 107.9. You can listen to it through your Amazon Echo. Just tell it to play 980 The Wave, and you can listen to all the recordings at nickcraig.com. Also, Tuesday, 7 p.m., Nick and Brian are doing their Infection podcast on Twitch. This is for survival games. So 7 p.m. Tuesday evenings, just go to twitch.tv/infection podcast and enjoy. And like Nick said, a happy Valentine for everybody. And we'll be back next week. Bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.